Good morning. I'm waiting for a message from someone that I am supposed to be doing a podcast with this morning, and I really wanted to record that conversation so that I could potentially use that in future trainings with people talking about mindset and building from where you are. Um, I lost so much, and even though I've gained so much in the process that I can choose to be ungrateful, but I won't stay in that ungrateful state because, like, it doesn't serve me any good. Like, what is the lesson in it? What can I say good about that situation? I choose to look at that. Now I know that when you can joke about something, then it has healed on a level. And my goal today is to be able to do that, to joke about the experiences that I had, and how it went from there. It's gonna be Porch Talk with Lamail and Coley. And here we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, dear.
So,
uh, good
I
morning.
wanna welcome you guys to um a new episode. I know that I've had guests on before, but I think that this guest that's coming on today and will be coming on for many, many more episodes. She has a lot of things that I think that, excuse me, she can really disseminate and expound upon that will give you guys a fresh look at some of the topics and some of the subjects that I talk about during the weekly podcast, the transformational lift.
Mhm.
But first, let me introduce her. Her name is Nicole Nixon. Um, we have met. Um, what would you say, Nicole? Like we I talked about three, four times, but the first time it was
Right,
like boom, it just caught on like wildfire.
right.
Uh, um, so I invited her. I said, man, you have to do a podcast with me. I have a podcast where I talk to listeners about transforming their minds, body, and lifestyle. And she has a great story that she will, during this series, expound upon. But today, we're going to talk about transforming your mind, which we both believe that you can't get to your goal without dealing with your mind. If your
Right.
mind is not right, you can't go anywhere.
That is true.
Um, but let me introduce myself because if you don't know me, um, or this is your first time hearing my voice, my name is Lamail Spain, better known as Optimus Prime. Um, I, like I said, wanted to, and I always want to put my best foot forward with inviting guests that I think you guys, not meaning guys, but you females as well as men, can really take and really adopt and start practicing some of the practices. But we're gonna name this show Porch Time because when my mom was alive, that's what her and I we would have porch time. She never called it porch time. I adopted that. I made that the the period of time that her and I would sit.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we would she would do majority of the listening and I would do the majority of the talking.
Okay.
But um she would always give me nuggets. And I think with Nicole and the information that her and I have had during our conversations, it reminds me of porch time. She gives nuggets and they're valuable to not only think about later, but you can implement immediately.
Right.
If you're in that place to do so. Um, but we're gonna name this uh, this segment, this series, um, this show out of the transformational lift, Porch Time with Nicole and
Oh.
Optimus.
Well, let me introduce myself to your listeners. Um, yes, as Lamail said, first off, let me say, Lamail, to you, thank you for inviting me to be here. It is such an honor to speak with someone who has used their determination, their skill, and their mind to transform not only their own life, but the lives of others. And you do it in a fun way, and you are focused on helping the people that you help get their results. And I think that's part of the way that we connected, because I saw that within you, and that's my passion too. Um, my friends call me Coley. I am the MomInshaman. That's a made-up name that my daughter gave me when I started my spiritual evolution. I started studying all kinds of things, and I am from Fort Oaks, North Carolina. That's not where I grew up, but that is where my father is buried. And ironically enough, I used to sit on the porch across the street from the cemetery where my father is buried and have conversations with the spirits in the forest. And that is where I began my individual transformation, in which I used what I had around me to change my relationship with myself, my food, and my body. And I got rid of 150 pounds in 18 months. And through that, I now manage my type 2 diabetes with diet, exercise, prayer, and meditation. I got off of all of the pharmaceuticals that I was taking to manage that diabetes, because they kept me sick and I got sick of it. So, yeah, and I'm looking forward to continuing these porch conversations where we just talk about what's on our mind and what we're putting in our bodies, and ways that we can strengthen our spirit and keep it on going from there. So Porch Time with Lamail and Coley is an amazing name that you told me today, and I'm like, man, the irony and the synchronicity of that is just perfect.
Well, I think that it's a lot of things that you and I have similarities on. When you talk about your story with your weight journey, it's kind of similar to my weight journey, and how getting your mind in order to help you to attack getting in a more healthy um, world atmosphere. It's kind of similar to what I had to go through with the 235. You know what I'm saying? It was like.
And what's that? Yeah, keep in mind there are people listening that don't know you, that are friends of mine too. So tell them about your transformation as well.
Okay, so my mom passed away in '97, so that's another similarity.
Mm-hmm.
Passed away when I was 19.
Oh wow!
But had been sick 3/4 of my high school career. But I didn't, and I'm wanting your listeners, and of course my listeners know, I don't brag, I report. So I have to put that out there. But
Okay.
So 3/4 of my high school career, she was in and out of the hospital. The first time she went in the hospital, she was in the hospital for 6 months. We thought she was going to die. Like the doctors basically said that it was nothing else they could do to help her. And so they stuck in the room and they waited for her to die. However, like I said, 6 months later, she was discharged, and I watched her transform.
Wow.
From being bedridden, getting out of the hospital, to walking with the walker, to eventually not having a walker and just walking naturally, like everybody else. And so I think that helps me to remember that it can happen. It doesn't matter what the doctors say because they're practicing anyway. They're doctors that practice medicine.
That's right.
Which means that they don't have all the answers. They're just using us as guinea pigs to see if their theories, their hypotheses are true.
Right.
And if there's not, then they have to go back to the drawing board. But it all starts with your mind, but I've seen it for myself. And I am a spiritual individual. I know what God can do. God says something that usually man tends to have the opposite thought process of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he said that we, are his. And he also says, by his stripes we're healed, and he has other things that he said. So I look at that as absolute. What he says is absolute. What man says, it's wishy-washy. They can like you today, and then they can hate you tomorrow.
That's
because
true.
they're fickle like that.
Right.
But anyway, so
fickle.
Sit 3/4 of my high school career. You know what I'm saying? However, I didn't miss not one day of high school. Perfect attendance all 4 years.
Wow.
And none of my friends and classmates, a lot of people didn't know. And if they did, they never told me they knew. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't go around reporting like, hey, my mama said, my mama, nah.
Right.
You don't need to know that. You just need to know I'm here. Tell me a joke, make me laugh, get my mind off of what I have to deal with when I go home.
Right.
So 3/4, she's sick, in and out of the hospital. They did find out she was sick when I had my high school senior awards ceremony where they got all the seniors. They always had the seniors sit in the on the basketball floor while the other students were in the bleachers. And so she came in and they saw her, and she had lost a lot of weight, and she was frail, but she still was moving and doing everything. So later on that day, they were like, Spain, when your mom gets sick? And I was like, she been sick since my 10th grade year. What you talking about?
Oh, wow.
And they was like, when you was going to tell us? I was like, 3 days from never.
Oh, goodness.
You don't need to know. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to keep my mind off of what I got to worry about when I go home. So at that award ceremony, again, not bragging, but reporting. Every time, it seemed like every time I sat down from receiving an award, they would call my name up to get another award. I was winning a lot of awards, which again made it like, okay, so his mom was sick when he was a 10th grader. He hasn't missed not one day of the 4 years he went to high school. He has a 3.6 GPA. He also is a member of National Honor Society. He played football and wrestled. Like, who
Right.
is this guy?
So
And then,
it sounds like you did the best you could to keep your mind and body as busy and focused on your own goals while um
go
you
with
work
him.
to help your mother's health at home. That's honorable. Thank you.
Um, and so also had to write out in a newspaper
Mhm.
because I lived in one of the worst neighborhoods in the hometown I'm from, where statistically you had five options of being a black male.
Mhm.
You was either going to be on drugs, selling drugs, in and out of prison, dead before your 20th birthday, or you also was going to have a plethora of baby mamas.
Mhm. Okay.
I had neither of those. And here I am getting ready to go to college. And getting awards for scholarships and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they couldn't understand somebody. Well, I don't even know how the doggone story developed, but they wanted to write about how did I do it, and so I had to write up in the paper about me defying the odds of surpassing those five statistics.
Right.
So my my sophomore year in college, she passed away 4 days after Christmas.
Mm.
Um, yeah, the 29th of December 1997. But instead of me stopping and taking some time off, I was, of course, at home for the Christmas break. So when school came back in, I went back to school. And so the students, my friends, I don't even think some of the guys and women or females, professors, they even knew that my mom died
Oh
or
wow.
whatnot. Um, but my friends, when I told them, because we would come home, we would call the dorm home because that transitioned into my home because that's what I did. I moved to the campus and I
Mhm.
never came back to my hometown. But when I came back from the Christmas break, they was, share, well, I got a PlayStation for Christmas, or I got some clothes, blah, blah, blah. So when it was my turn, it was like, what you do over the break? I was like, well, my mom died. And they was like,
Wah, wah, wah. Like damn. Like that's a buzzkill. Like what'd you get for Christmas? A casket full of mom? How about you?
yeah,
Like yeah.
yeah. And so their next question was, why are you here? And I'm like, well, where else I'm going to go?
Right.
Because I couldn't stay in the place that where I grew up.
Okay.
They said that he gotta leave. You know what I'm saying? So college was my home. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
getting 3 square meals a day. Why not? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hey, I got a roof over my head. I'm gonna use this just like I used when I was in high school. I'm gonna
Right.
use my friends to keep my mind off of the bullshit.
Mhm.
Pardon my French. Well, no, don't pardon my French because my
You're
last name is
forgiven.
Spain. So,
Right. You're
so
forgiven. Remember, Lamail, there are no bad words, there are only bad intentions. Speak what you feel and you will be
yeah,
free. So yeah, you're good with me.
so I stayed in college for the remaining part of the time. But God still blessed me even with that because when I graduated, and I am bragging, but I'm not bragging on this statement. So my last semester, I intentionally
Uh-huh.
did a got a 4.0. I made sure I was gonna get a 4.0. So it would boost my GPA up to a 3.7, which would have landed me Sigma Cum Laude honors for graduating. But they didn't boost my 3.6 to a 3.7. And so I graduated with Cum Laude honors. But now, as I sit back, I say quit playing and quit being a jerk. I mean, a 3.6 in comparison to what you was going through. Half of the people that you graduated with, they didn't have a 3.6, and you trying to get a 3.7. But that's my personality.
Right. So you're always striving for better.
Yeah, I'm. If I can get it, I'm gonna get it. You know. So graduated as a cum laude honor. Graduated as an academic All-American because I played football while there in college. I also was a member of the National Honor Society, Phi Eta Sigma, on the campus. I also was one of the 5 that helped establish a fraternity chapter on a predominantly white campus, Phi Beta Sigma. I was the first to ever, and they said they wouldn't let no one else that comes through Wingate do this, but I was the first ever to play football and graduate as athletic trainer, or receive an athletic training degree, because both of those, the football and athletic training, are demanding. Right. You know, with the major and of course with the practicing and stuff like that. Okay. So they wouldn't let anybody else do that. That was just too much for a student.
So let's talk about the mental aspects that your experiences taught you to strengthen. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, basically, it's like I told you at the beginning, like your mind. The mind is so powerful, and I tell my listeners, the mind is so powerful. You know what I'm saying? We don't even use half of our capacity, our mental capacity.
Let's talk about the way that we use our mind. Have you ever heard the expression that everything is created twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that is, was, or ever will be was somebody's idea first, right on down to you. Like, you were a twinkle in somebody's eye, and your parents got together to make you, and you are the product of that union. And when you make a decision that this goal is what you want, more often than not, my observation is that men with female-led households, and a great deal of the African American or Black community has female-led households, and right, the outcomes can be one of those 5 that you mentioned to me, and each individual must choose, like, okay, you know what, my mom is going through all of this. This is what I'm hearing from what you've told me. My mom is going through all of this. I am not going to disappoint her. I am going to stay focused on my goals, my education, and my future, so that her illness, her life I will be a testament or a tribute to her life, her determination, her drive, her focus that she put on me as an individual. I'm going to take that investment that she put in me, and I'm going to go out and make something great in the world of myself. That is what I'm getting from the story that you're telling me. So focus, drive, and determination are 3 aspects of one's mind that must be fostered. Now, to dial it into the things that we were going to talk about today, those are, how do you do that? How do you build your focus, drive, and determination? Like, if you are in a situation in which the only options that are available to you are the 5 that you mentioned, like, you know what, the easiest route is to just go start making kids or whatever. But I did. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I had 4 children out of wedlock, and I had 2 parents in the home. I grew up ridiculously middle class. But that's the path that I chose because I was curious. I'm like, okay, how's that work? All right. So notice what you notice. I noticed that we didn't talk a whole lot about sex, so I'm curious about that. All right, fine. Okay, started having some. All right, guess what? First comes sex, and then you have the product of that union, which is children. So dialing back into notice what you notice. When you look at the world around you, if you notice only bad things, that's something that you have to address within yourself, because the world around us is a reflection, a merciless reflection of ourselves. So if we take that on, then we can get trapped in judgment and say, man, I can only do X, Y, and Z. But you have to get sick enough, mad enough to be like, you know what, fuck this. This is not it. I can choose something different than the options that are in front of me. And what I chose to do is I'm gonna make something for myself. Like, I don't like any of these options. So I said, nah. I chose to go within myself. I went into the forest. I spent a great deal of time in nature, talking with the Most High God, connecting with Earth, getting my hands dirty, getting sweaty. And that's how I started to just feel the fat melting away. And it was great. You know what I'm saying? So, to your listeners, all right, I ask you, notice what you notice. What do you see? Is that good for you to continue to see those things? Can you get rid of it? No, but you can change how you look at it. It's there for a reason. What is that teaching you? How is your life a reflection of your thoughts? If you don't like it, you got to shift your thoughts and start making small changes in the things that you do every day. And that can build momentum and create an entirely different life for you, because you are more aware and you are making your decisions based on what your individual needs and desires are. You don't need
Well,
to throw everything away, but
I
you can.
always say, I always say, um, your thoughts become your feelings become your actions become your reactions, and your actions shape your destiny. And I tell that to people
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. It all starts with your thought. Your thought can end up messing with your destiny. I mean, you know, so it was just something that I wanted to
Mm-hmm. So what do you
throw
think
out.
of yourself?
Me?
Yeah,
You asking?
yeah.
Oh,
You're the only one that can respond right away, but I mean, I'm asking who's listening too. But so, like, yeah, what do you think of
um,
yourself?
well, when I look at all the things that I have been through, like I'm a good guy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like half of the things I've experienced would have took a lot of people under. Either they would have went into a crazy house, or they would have just threw in the towel.
Right.
But because of my tenacious, and I've always been like this. Even as a young kid, I used to get whippings because I would still do what I wanted to do. You
Right.
know, don't touch that. Well, why can't I touch that? It's right there.
Right. I can see
that don't,
it.
yeah, that don't make sense. Don't eat that. No, you said you didn't want it,
Right.
and
I
nobody
might want
else
it
wanted it.
later. I might want it later. If you eat
Well,
it, I won't be able to get it later.
it don't matter. You said you didn't want it now. I want it now. So I think with that, it has helped me, but it also has hurt me. But with the helping side, I really am grateful that I have um,
Okay.
that personality and that character trait
Right.
of knowing what I want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people don't know what they want. They'll say they want A, but then they'll turn around and say, "Well, I choose B." It's like that fable where the fox was jumping up to grab the grapes, and eventually he got tired and he said, I ain't want the grapes anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sour
you did,
grapes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You just got tired. I'm not that fox. I try not to be that fox. If I want the grapes, I want them.
Right, and you're going to do what you can do to get them. Right. Yeah. Okay. So let me share something with you. One of my very first thought experiments or propositions is something that we now just refer to at home as orange soda. Okay. So let me ask you, Lamail, if I was to give you an orange soda, and do you like orange soda?
Yeah, it's okay. I don't like. I'd rather it be like the Hossie soda
So
kind of.
all right, fine, great. Yeah. So does your desire for it to be something else change it from orange soda into something else? Yes or no?
No.
Right. If you were to get mad at it, throw some dirty words at it, would that change the orange soda into something else?
Mm-mm.
If you were to pour it out, would that change it from orange soda into something else?
Mm-mm.
Right. How you perceive it and react to it doesn't change it. Now imagine that you loved orange soda, like, oh my God, like you lived for it. Like you woke up every day thinking about orange soda and how good it would taste on your tongue, coming down your throat, just the cool bottle in your hand, the condensation on the bottle. Like this was just the ultimate experience. If I gave you an orange soda, how would that make you feel?
Oh, I love it.
Right, because you do.
I'll be grateful. I feel grateful.
Right. So one of the challenges in life can be like how we feel about a situation changes us, not the situation. So we can learn to look at things differently, especially your frustrations. You can teach yourself more about you and what you are meant to do. So it's like, all right, when I get mad, like, okay, I get mad. I allow myself to feel the feelings. And this is something that has really been a lesson for me lately is like, I've gotten such a really tight control over my feelings that extreme emotions, I tend to avoid them. But I have had, because I'm in the process of doing some additional transformation, I still haven't gotten to the goal weight that I want to. I'm like, okay, I've got to do some more deep diving. So I said, okay, I need to feel these feelings because they serve a purpose. I don't want to feel those feelings because um I my judgment of myself is that allowing myself to feel those feelings in the past has gotten me into trouble. But it's just allowed me to have experiences through which I have learned and grown spiritually stronger. So I was like, okay, you feel those feelings, then you just take a deep breath. You're like, all right, I can't change the situation. I can just change how I look at it. So we just say orange soda, bitch. Like, okay, get over it and move forward. And then you start looking for solutions because there are no problems. There are only solutions that have yet to be uh, obtained and acted upon. So then that takes us to um, thought process number 2 is, notice your longing and discontent. Like, what do you long for? What do you miss? Like, and when I was talking about the orange soda, like, imagine that as an aspect of your life that you have some type of dissatisfaction in. A lot of the people that I have been working with lately have relationship issues. The quarantine has people having or getting to spend time around folks that they didn't have to so much, and they're starting to see like the cracks in their relationships that their other activities outside of the house were a distraction from. So it's like, okay, man, I want a more intimate relationship with my husband. I want my wife to see me as a man, as a provider, as a presence in the household. And like there's all this fear and resentment, what it takes. So you have to decide, like, okay, what do you want? from your relationship. Then you have to ask yourself, what are you putting into attaining that desire? That's where you, Lamail, are an inspiration to me. Like, okay, you put in the work. You got it done. You got your body moving. You got fit and healthy. You got your mind focused on your goals. And that's what you're going to have to do. But when you're building that, you got to pick one small thing that you can do. And it is, and I'm going to tell you something, and somebody's going to get this right away, and it's going to take a while for others too. But listen when I say this to you. Gratitude is the most amazing, and it's the highest vibration. So when you have to check your attitude and start looking for things to be grateful for. Like when I clean the kitchen, when I'm mad about the fact that somebody else didn't do it and who could have done that, all that, whatever. I'm in the kitchen. Guess what? I can do it. I've got 10 fingers, 10 toes. My eyes work. My body does. I remember when I could not use my body in the way that I can now. So out of gratitude, I just take a deep breath. I start thanking every little thing. I pick up that spoon. Thank you, spoon, for all this scoop, all these soup and the ice cream that you brought to my mouth, and now I'm gonna put you up. Boom. Thank you, cup, for all that coffee, and every time I filled you up. And I just think just one memory, one gratitude for everything that I touch, and before you know it, I am ready to sing and dance my way out of the kitchen. The kitchen is clean, and I'm just like, woo, all right. You can't stop my shine. I'd clean the kitchen. Like, and somebody else might be like, whatever, bitch. Like, yeah, you clean the kitchen. Like, nobody cares about what you're doing when you're doing it but you. So when you have that level of focus and gratitude, I mean, you can get so much more done just by shifting the attitude with which you do it. And yeah, I choose to have fun. I remember getting up on Saturday morning and cleaning up and whatnot and making my children do that. Man, they used to hate it. Now my daughter is grateful that she got taught those lessons because she knows how to bring order into her environment. She knows how to bless the space that she's in. She knows how to show that space appreciation. And like other people are like that too. When you're around someone so much, you start to judge them for all the things they do or didn't do or said they would do. Like, okay, you can't control anyone else. So what can you do? What did you say that you were going to do that you didn't do? What promise did you break to yourself?
That's powerful.
And there's always a good reason. So, like, yeah, give yourself some space, a deep breath and some grace, and understand that wherever you are in the right place. So then that goes to our next question. What would you love? What would you absolutely love to have in your life? Odds are you have a little piece of it somewhere. There's some aspect of it that is around you that you might have just kind of gotten eye blind to or whatever because you're so busy focusing on what you don't have. So, have you ever heard count your blessings more than your problems, and your blessings will become more than you ever dreamed?
No, but is that what you just said is so true, though?
That is true. Because what you focus on grows. So, yes, we have bad experiences. We all do. And when you do, that's something that experience is teaching you. And if you don't know what it is, that is when the power of coaching and counseling is amazing, because you have another perspective to help pour into you.
I always say that that other person helps you to not focus on the tree and step back and see the forest.
Right. And that's a beauty of what your mom used to do for you. Like, man, baby, you don't need that. If you're upset about not having it, you don't need it. Whatever is for you can never be kept from you. You just have to decide you want it bad enough to keep moving forward. And often we give up because it gets too tough in one area, and then we start focusing on another one. Like, okay, but the same principles that you use for success in one area, you can use to get success in another area. It's just a matter of focusing on it. And I'm gonna tell you this, and then we're gonna move on to the next aspect. But we have started learning about financial responsibility. I am a member of an 8-person household. I live with my sisters and brother-in-law and children, and we started. My sister started doing free debt classes on teaching people how to pay off debt. They've paid off one house and almost paid this house off in like 3 years, as opposed to 30 with a traditional mortgage. It's all in how you, and it's not all in, but it is about knowing what you have, working with that, and when you have money coming in, reducing expenses, and if you don't have enough money coming in, figuring out a way that you can get more coming in. And service is the key to that. Like, you honor and come in a spirit of service and curiosity, you can always find something. But so when we started doing this war on debt, we're like, okay, everybody took some time to look at what they were spending, and we all like tightened up on our spending. I still buy my cigars. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I have my vices that keep me human. You know what I'm saying? So, all in due time. I'm not ready to set that one down yet, but and we started volunteering as a family at a food pantry. So we go on Saturdays to help give food out, and I enjoy doing that because it's some time outside and I get to sweat and encourage people to smile. So I liken myself to be, like you said, your friends were to you in high school. Like, I'm a momentary distraction in your day to make you smile and remind you that everything's going to be okay. And my sister was like, she came to me and was like, okay, I need to know how much money you spent on food this month. And I was like, well, I've spent like $11. And she was like, okay. So she tallied everything up and she was like, y'all, this month we have spent less than $300 as a family.
Wow.
For 8 people and 2 dogs with dog food.
Wow.
Now, like, our diets have gotten a lot simpler, and we meal plan and everything, and that's one thing that's just really cool, because as I'm working to lose weight or whatever, people tend to say like, oh, healthy eating is so expensive. I'm like, not if you're not too, you can, if you choose for it to be expensive, yes, you want organic and free range and all this other kind of stuff, but like, if you have the money for that, spend it. That's your choice. That's perfectly fine. But you can get apples and oranges, and that's how I started my transformation. I was like, I'm gonna eat me an apple a day. I'm not the biggest fan of apples, but I ate an apple because I knew it had fiber, I knew it had some sugar, and I appreciated at least the taste of it. So I'm like, okay, so that's my reset food. Whenever I feel like I'm getting off track as far as my diet is concerned, I grab myself an apple and I'll sit down and say, okay, what do I need to do today to make sure that I'm healthy? And more often, it's drink more water, eat more whole food, and move my ass a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit on it all day. Like, I do intend to be the 80-year-old twerking at the family reunion. And I need some twerking lessons. So do you have any listeners that can help me with that?
Oh, I don't even know. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't even know. You know, and no one has actually come out and say, "Hey, nice episode." You know, I keep twerking. That's not something that comes up.
Okay. So yeah, and so then the last question to ask yourself is, so what can you do where you are with what you have? And often asking yourself that question, your mind works on a subconscious level to answer the questions that are asked of it, both consciously and subconsciously. I'm always asking you questions because I'm like, oh, you are such a deep well of like knowledge and information. I'm just like, oh, this is so good. So it's like, okay, what can Lamail teach me today? And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy our conversation so much. But yeah, when you think about it, like, what can you do? There's always something you can do. If you want to get healthy, you can go for a walk. If you can't walk, you can learn some deep breathing exercises. Can I teach you one?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So, sitting in your chair, relaxed, you take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth like this. And you just give yourself a nice sigh of relief. Take it. There you go. Feels good, right?
Yeah, it
Just
really
to
does.
let all that tension kind of flow away from your body. And as you do, you can take another deep breath in. You can ask yourself a question like, what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful for my hands and my feet and my flabby parts and my scabby parts. Those are all art formed by the master's hand. And it's so grand the way my biscuits and gravy taste. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get in the kitchen and cook, man. Like, give yourself something to look forward to.
Oh, wow.
But be present where you are. Now, how can I bless my space today? If everything's in order at home, great. Who can I bless somewhere else? Who have I not talked to that might need an encouraging word from me? And sometimes when you make those phone calls out, you get more than you expect because you're like, hey, what's going on? And people are like, oh, this is wrong and wrong and wrong. And then that's your chance to be like, well, what good can we find in that? It's gonna be all right. So let's look for the good in that. You can be the person that helps somebody laugh today, right?
Yeah, I like how you shifted that. You
What?
know, we're so uh, ingrained to think about the negative.
Mm-hmm.
What's bad? What's bad? But you flipped it. It's like, oh, that is bad what you're going through, but what's good?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it can be bad.
Right.
There's got to be something that
Right.
is good. So I like how you flipped that.
Exactly. And see, then look for what you like. If you feel as though just like things are just getting so heavy, that's because you're taking on more than your spirit needs you to do. And you can relax and just breathe, then you can hear that small voice of spirit talking to you like, yeah, man, it's gonna be all right. The loud voice that you hear more often than not is fear. The soft one is the one that encourages you.
That's a great point right there. But I want to, before you say anything else, want to talk about how you say take a deep breath and calm down. I think with the COVID, that's the big crux of things. We have become so engrossed in boom, 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 go, 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 that now that we're supposed to sit down and chill for a little bit, it's giving us the opportunity to reboot and regroup and to really slow down.
Yes.
But people still ain't getting the message. They still want to keep going.
Oh,
But that's something that,
yes. Because we get so focused on keeping things kind of status quo, and I don't want that no more. I don't want that. Like, I want to create something new.
Yeah.
And
that's scary.
Yes, it is extremely scary. But it's also exhilarating at the same time. Like, can you imagine just creating the world that you would love to live in?
Yeah.
Doesn't that just having that thought just makes me feel so awesome. Like, oh man, like, woo. Where you can go anywhere, you can talk to anybody, you can do anything. And you just have to choose to. You just have to choose. Now, the earth, everything comes from the earth. The earth provides everything that we have. It's just a matter of somebody going to get it, taking it through a process, and the end result is the technology that we are talking on like right now. That's amazing. Like, somebody thought of it, they put the plan together, they went and got the resources, somebody put it together based on the plan, And then boom, you and I met through an inspired action. Like I had a thought one day, like I need to reach out to somebody in my masterclass. I saw your name. It said Optimus Prime, the transformation lift. I was like, you know what? I'm a transformer. And I will have to tell that story another day. But like, yeah, I have transformed myself from, you know, the fat girl to a still fat girl who's more confident, who's more self-loving, who's more compassionate, who's more humble, even though like right now I don't feel like I sound very humble, but because I know myself enough to know that there are certain situations in which humility is a bonus, and there are other situations in which confidence is a bonus, and just having that beautiful mix of both of those, because I know who I am. I accept myself as I am, flaws and all. And my
But
encouragement
I
to
think,
you is to, you can do that too. You can accept yourself the way that you are, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, the things that you set aside because you thought you couldn't. Look at those again and ask yourself, how can I? Because you
but I
can.
think, I think, when you switch and you shift it, like I said, it's all in the mind. When you
Mm-hmm.
started shifting, that's when your transformation started. You know what I'm saying? Like the weight, all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really am a big proponent of that because it was when I started quit calling myself fat ass when I
Mm-hmm.
would work out. Come on, fat ass, do more, do one more set, do this. Then
Mm-hmm.
I started congratulating myself. That's when the weight started coming off. I mean, of course, I still had to exercise, but
Right.
the weight that the weight didn't stay on as
Uh-huh.
bad or as harder than when I started being nice to myself. And I tell my listeners, we are like little kids. You wouldn't think of talking negatively to a kid and calling them stupid, stupid, stupid,
Right.
unless you really have a problem or whatnot, because that kid is going to start believing that.
Right.
Like, I am stupid. And they grow up, I'm no good, I'm no good. Well, the same thing applies when you are talking to yourself. If you call yourself fat ass,
Mm-hmm.
yourself is going to be like, you're right, I am fat.
My wife
But
used to
why
do
should
that.
I lose weight?
She used to do that. She used to say, I'm terrible. I'm like, no, you're not. Stop saying that. You're not terrible.
Yeah,
You're amazing and
yeah,
wonderful. So say that about yourself. I'm learning.
yeah.
I'm growing. Like, yes, the words that you use, they create a pattern. And that's one thing that you can choose to start doing right now, today, is choose to see the good in things, especially yourself. So
Words are power.
when you stop saying fat ass, what do you start saying? I'm gonna tell you what I said to myself, but I want to hear what you said first.
Well, basically, I just start encouraging myself. Like, I would say, you did good.
Uh huh.
Okay, so if I couldn't accomplish a exercise, we'll use that as an example.
Uh huh.
I still should tell myself, at least you tried. You know what I'm saying?
Good
At least you
job.
was able to do whatever it was. You may not have successfully executed the whole exercise,
Uh huh.
but at least you tried. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? That's a whole lot better than not even trying.
Right.
So I would be encouraging to myself more.
Okay. Can I share with you something that I created as a way to encourage myself?
How is that?
It's well, it's a number rhyme or whatever, because one of my fondest memories of my father and my mother, and I'll talk more about my mother the next time we talk, but he used to sing the ABCs to my daughters every morning. And I said that was the sweetest thing. So I started singing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? And then I'd do the remix. And sometimes we would like rap it or what have you. But then I started to say, okay, then I would step into my power and I'd turn into, Coley the MomInshaman, the world's worst battle rapper. I do Instagram posts from the crapper. I just think that I'm so dapper because I'm a man, but I'm not. Like, you can be like I am, but you don't need to because you can be true to yourself. Know that one, we're going to have some fun. Two, we got stuff to do. Three, get with the G. Four, open up the door. Said five, you're alive. Six, we got to learn some tricks. Seven, we create heaven. Eight, you are great. Nine, we're all divine. 10, abundance. Don't forget to honor the ancestors. Honor your mother and father. Don't forget to dance like you got ants in your pants. You can do it. You got through it. All right. Clap it up. And so, yeah, that was that. So, and I would have fun with it. And I did my workouts like by myself. So I had to find a way to encourage myself and know that the person that I see in the mirror is a reflection of the decisions that I made up until now. And the person that I'm creating is on the other side of the actions that I need to take. And they're waiting for me to continue forward to meet them and see them as a part of my present day reality. But I love myself now, and I love myself in the future, and I love myself in the past as well, because I didn't know any better, and when you know better, you do better. I think we have all heard that, but the deepness of that is like, okay, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you want. Because then if you don't know what you want, when you end up with resentment instead of accomplishment. Because you do what you meant to do, and when you did it, so you have to give yourself some grace and forgiveness over the decisions that you made before. Is this good for me? Is this not? Okay, this is not good for me, so I'm gonna do less of that. I'm gonna do more of what's good for me and kind of build from there. And that is your last little bit on the rocking chair, because I got to get going to the rest of my day today.
Yeah, and I was about to say we're gonna have to table this for next week because we are coming on the tail end of our podcast.
That's our time.
It has been a great joy listening to you expounding upon these nuggets, and I hope that everybody that listens, you got at least one thing from some of the stuff that was disseminated. And the last thing I just want to say is just step into your greatness.
That's right. We
all are great.
That's right.
We all are great, and I just would hope that to hear that from you guys next Sunday.
Yep.
And is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
Just thank you so much, Lamail, for this opportunity to spend this time with you and your listeners. I'm so grateful for you, and just to amen and clap it up on what you said. Yes, you are great. We are all great. We all have our individual greatness, and it is by learning from the shit that we've been through that we can look at that shit as simply fertilizer for the greatness that is to come. And I'm looking forward to our next coaching call, our porch time with Lamail and Coley. And it's been a great day. Thank you. And don't forget to play.
And don't forget to play. So we will talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.